She was treated like she didn't belong. But one mission forced everyone to see her true worth. The first day, Specialist Mara Jensen arrived at Outpost Alderidge. The air felt colder than anything she expected. Not weather cold, people cold. The kind that sinks into the bones before you even take your first breath. She walked through the front gates with her gear over her shoulder, her helmet tucked neatly under her arm, and a quiet confidence in her steps. But confidence didn't matter here, at least not for her. Not when everyone already decided she didn't belong. It began the moment she stepped onto the training yard. Soldiers glanced up, took one look at her, then looked away with the same dismissive shrug you'd give a passing shadow. Some whispered. Some rolled their eyes. Some didn't bother hiding the annoyance on their faces. Great, another rookie who'll need babysitting. She looks scared already. That she's never even seen real action. Mara heard every word. She didn't flinch. Growing up as a daughter of a firefighter who risked his life daily, she learned early that judgment came easy to those who never truly watched you work. Her father used to tell her, "The world may not welcome you, kid, but one day it'll need you." She held on to that tightly. Her first week felt like a test she never signed up for. The platoon was tight-knit, experienced, and proud. Too proud. Whenever she joined a table in the mess hall, conversations died. Whenever she stepped into a room, eyes drifted away. During drills, she was always the one without a partner until someone was forced to take her. And that someone was usually Sergeant Colton Hayes. Tall, sharp-jawed, annoyingly capable, and absolutely not interested in her presence. He didn't insult her openly. He didn't need to. His silence said enough. During combat simulations, he corrected her harshly. During tactical training, he reminded her she was slower than the rest. During shooting practice, he sighed every time she adjusted her stance. Not cruel, just dismissive, as if she was an inconvenience. Others were worse. Corporal Reed smirked constantly. Private Larson whispered jokes behind her back. Even Lieutenant Briggs avoided giving her any serious responsibility. Every day felt the same, an endless loop of being treated like she didn't deserve the uniform she wore. But Mara never talked back, never complained, never lashed out. Instead, she worked. Quietly, steadily, relentlessly. She practiced after everyone went to bed. She ran extra drills under the moonlight. She studied field manuals long after the lights were out. Yet no one noticed. Or maybe they refused to. To them, she simply didn't belong. Not here. Not among them. Everything changed on a mission that was supposed to be simple. It was meant to be a standard reconnaissance patrol. A quick in and out around the northern cliffs, routine, predictable. The kind of mission new soldiers were usually allowed to join because nothing ever happened there. Lieutenant Briggs called it a cakewalk. But even the quietest corners of the world can carry danger. The team moved across the rocky terrain under a rising moon. Shadows stretched long across the ground, and the wind hissed through the narrow canyons like a warning no one wanted to hear. Mara felt uneasy. She slowed her breathing, listening to the world the way her father taught her. Small sounds, shifts in the wind, movements that didn't fit the rhythm of nature. Something's wrong. But she didn't say anything yet until she was sure. A faint metallic click. So soft it could have been a pebble falling, but not to her. She froze instantly. Stop. Her voice was firm, sharper than anyone had ever heard from her. Lieutenant Briggs turned with irritation. "Jensen, what now? This isn't—" "Stop moving!"
She repeated, louder. Her urgent tone made the entire patrol halt. Sergeant Hayes frowned. Mara, talk. She stepped forward slowly, squinting at the ground, eyes fixed on a barely visible object, half buried under dust. A tripwire so thin it looked like a spider silk. But that wasn't what caught her breath. It was the small blinking light nestled beside it. An IED, a sophisticated one. The moment Hayes saw it, his face drained of color. Oh my God, Private Larson whispered. They weren't walking through a safe zone. They had walked straight into a trap. And if Mara hadn't noticed, none of them would have made it out.
But the danger wasn't over. Reed stepped back instinctively. His boot hit a loose rock, and it tumbled down into the shadows. A deafening beep echoed in the canyon. Another device armed itself, then another, and another. A chain of blinking lights came alive around them in every direction. They didn't just step into a trap. They stepped into the center of a kill zone. Panic surged through the group. Private Larson cursed under his breath. Reed's hands shook violently. Even Lieutenant Briggs looked lost. But Mara stayed calm. Everyone freeze, she said softly. Hayes looked at her, stunned by the steadiness in her voice. What do you see? She scanned the area carefully. Her eyes trailed over the wired pattern on the ground. It wasn't random. It wasn't sloppy. It was a web, a deadly design meant to eliminate an entire patrol in seconds. There's a blind path, she whispered, about 8 inches wide, shaped like a V. If we move in that exact line, one at a time, we can get out. Briggs blinked. How do you know this? My father taught me. He used to defuse illegal explosives during wildfires. I watched him my whole childhood. Silence. Hayes nodded instantly. Then, you lead us out. Briggs opened his mouth to argue, but Hayes cut him off sharply. She just saved our lives once. Let her save them again. For the first time since joining Alder Ridge, someone trusted her. Mara took a breath. Steady, deep, focused. Then she stepped forward, placing her boots carefully between the thin gaps in the pattern. She moved slow, reading the ground with every shift of her weight. The others followed behind her. One by one, step by step, breath by breath. The canyon wind held its breath with them. Halfway through, disaster struck. Private Larson stumbled. His foot slipped. He fell sideways, straight toward a trigger plate. Without hesitating, Mara lunged. She grabbed his vest, twisted her body, and pulled him toward her with all the strength she had. He collapsed safely beside her. She landed inches away from the plate, so close she could see the dust rising off of it. Larson stared at her with wide, trembling eyes. You saved me. She nodded once. Stay closer next time. He didn't argue, didn't smirk, didn't whisper jokes. Instead, he followed her like his life depended on it, because it did. They reached the end of the trap zone. When the last soldier stepped out of danger, the entire patrol collapsed onto the ground, gasping for air. Hayes approached her first. He stood tall in front of her, jaw tight, chest still heaving from fear. Then he saluted, slow, respectful, meaningful. Mara Jensen, he said quietly, you didn't just save the patrol, you saved every man here. Larson stepped forward, eyes filled with guilt. I was wrong about you. We all were. Even Reed lowered his head in shame. Lieutenant Briggs slowly removed his helmet, something he almost never did. You're the reason we're alive. From this moment on, no one questions your place here. No one. For the first time since joining the military, Mara felt it.
warmth, acceptance, belonging. Her father's words echoed in her mind again. The world may not welcome you, kid, but one day it'll need you. Today proved him right. The next morning changed everything. Words spread through Alderidge like wildfire. The soldier who everyone ignored, the one who ate alone, the one who didn't belong, was the reason an entire patrol still breathed. Officers she'd never spoken to approached her with gratitude. Soldiers moved aside respectfully when she walked past. Larson carried her pack the whole day. Reed apologized twice. And Hayes, he stood beside her during training, not in front. For the first day ever, Mara didn't feel like an outsider. She felt seen, heard, valued. Exactly what she had been all along. If this story touched your heart even a little, if Mara's courage, strength, and quiet determination made a place in your mind, then please take a moment, like, comment, and subscribe. Your one subscription inspires me to create more stories like this. Stories of courage, stories of hope, stories that remind us what real strength looks like. Thank you, truly.